Dr. King, thank you for being here. I know that there was a monologue earlier in which you wanted to respond. I think you were kind of ready to do that, but we're not given that opportunity. Would you like to briefly respond to that?
Very briefly, Congresswoman, I am a bit emotional. I'm going to watch what I say. But it seems as though you have suggested that I am a bastard to the King family legacy. I am legitimately the daughter of Reverend Alfred Daniel Williams King and Dr. Naomi Ruth Barber King. We are a family who loves God, and I love you. God bless you.
Ms. King, let the record reflect that the gentlelady from Texas left the room. Thank you for responding to that. Mr. Fair, the SPLC website, you have a section called the extremist files with profiles of groups and individuals that, according to your frequently asked questions, are key figures on the hard right. How do you, you don't have any criteria listed, but just for education purposes, how does somebody become part of the extremist files?
Thank you, Congressman Fry. Our team in the Intelligence Project uses various criteria to identify folks on extremist files because—
Like what is the criteria?
Their statements and their activities are the criteria.
All right, so I'm gonna get so for example, if an individual is the leader of a KKK chapter, that person is overtly out in the public as the leader of a KKK chapter, they're probably apt to be on the extremist files based on their position, their statement, their association with the KKK. Is that fair to say? That
determination, Congressman Fry, would be made by the experts at the SPLC.
Right, but I mean that would be an overt person, somebody that's out in front of this. They would be more likely than not to be included on that file. Is that correct?
Could be on the hate map, could be on the hate list.
Is it truly objective or is it very subjective? I mean, it sounds like it's like this committee, this mysterious committee decides who's a hater and who's not.
As my testimony shows, we use specific criteria.
But but your testimony hasn't shown anything. You haven't talked about what that criteria is. So what the heck is the criteria?
Well, earlier, before you were in the room, I believe, Congressman Fry, I said our criteria is we identify people for the hate map, the hate list, I'm sorry, who, through their statements, the statements of their leaders, the principles of the organization,
all right, so let me
demonize and vilify.
So a collective body of evidence, then. How about that? Let's just cut to the chase. So if somebody poses with a Nazi flag or KKK memorabilia, that might be a factor, right, in whether or not they should be on the extremist file. Correct? It could be a factor, not the determining factor, but a factor. Is that fair to say?
It's, again—
Like, the answer is yes, dude. Like, this is not a trap question. I'm giving you, like, softballs.
Well,
if somebody does a Nazi salute in a public forum or in public view, would that be a factor?
It could be.
Could be, okay. What about burning a cross?
It could be a factor depending on the context.
Okay. Have tattoos like Nazi symbols?
We believe that Nazi symbols are symbols of hate, yes.
What about if the individual had knowledge of what the Nazi symbol was when they put the tattoo on their body, or at least learned about it?
I'm not sure that I'm following your line of questions.
Well, I think it would show intent, right? Like, intent would be that the person knew that the tattoo that they placed on their body was a Nazi tattoo.
I'm not sure I can comment on someone else's intent.
I think your own website talks about this, so this is an easy yes. What if this individual referred to their tattoo as a Totenkopf?
I'm not sure I know.
Do you know who I'm describing right now?
No, I don't.
I think you do, actually. That's Graham Plattner from Maine. Like, this is like, he was probably the best thing that y'all had coming because it actually distracted the media narrative away from the SPLC for like 2 days while they focused on this. But why would a Graham Plattner not be included on your extremist files? If he was a Republican, he probably would be, right?
We don't use political ideology,
Okay.
a political party, to identify who is on our list.
Well, I think you say you go after the members of the right, but I think as Dr. King was talking about before she stepped out, that this racism knows no ideology or political party. In fact, the Democrat Party has a very long and troubled history since its inception in the 1820s and 30s of supporting slavery, of supporting segregation, of continuing to perpetuate racism in our country. And so the fraud that you have perpetuated on your donors and the American people at the expense of eviscerating hate, you're only targeting one sect of people. It makes absolutely no sense. The organization should be ashamed of itself, and you should be ashamed for being.
Time of the gentleman has expired. The gentleman from Missouri is recognized for 5 minutes.